Well, it's a pretty nice day outside today, but fall is coming and it is time to get ready to winterize our RV. So as I look down on the parking lot, there it sits. But really, we've had a good summer of camping and our fall is getting quite busy with other things that we're involved with. So it's time to winterize, but I have to do some repair work first. So the first piece of repair work is to fix the kitchen tap. Okay, so the issue with the water tap is that it runs hot water, but the cold water doesn't come out. So if we're getting a sink full of water to do dishes, it gets very, very hot. So today the project is to see, can I get that tap working? I'll turn on our 12 volt and then our pump. So if I turn the tap fully to hot water, we have lots of pressure. Oh, and I have looks like a leak. But as soon as I turn it to cold water, we just get a dribble. So I'm thinking what it's going to be is that underneath, I'll take this stuff out, but the hoses are in the back, and I'm going to see if there's a plugged hose, if that's what the problem is. So we'll take all of this apart and then we'll get back at it. Okay, being in a van, we are working in very tight and cramped quarters, and I need to make as much room as possible. So I think what I'll do is I'll take the cupboard door off. After taking the cupboard doors off, then I'll take this tray out of the way, and that should, just like any office tray, that should just slide out once I release the, there we go. Okay, release the tracks, and that slides out nicely. Get this out of the way. And then I'll take this drawer out, just to give me a bit more room there. Alright, so let's show you my hot and my cold. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that apart and see if there's a blockage in the blue hose there, which is the cold water hose. Let's see if I can get some more light down there. And I will need either a 9/16 or a 5/8. So we're going to see which one's going to fit. We'll try the 5/8 wrench here first. There we go. Oh, I got to turn the pump off first. Otherwise I'll have water everywhere. I'll put a towel down there, because we'll have a little bit of water leakage. So I can tell that through the main lead coming in, there is water flow. Oh, I better run the tap and drain the lines as much as possible. So there is some water in the lines now. It's going to make a bit of a mess, but it is what it is. So what I want to do is see if I change the lines around. I can tell there is water flowing here in this tap because there's lots of water coming out now. And we'll loosen up the other one right away too. Okay, I forgot to hit record. What I did was I switched the hot and the cold water taps over. And when I did that, it still ran full pressure through the hot. So that means the cold water tap or the cold water line has lots of water pressure. And when I put it to cold with the hot water attached on the cold side, now it still had no pressure. So there is something wrong with this tap. So if only there was a way to get something here instantly. Just like that, my package arrived. So I went to Amazon and I ordered a marine tap. And I'm going to just take that apart. Okay, so I've loosened the mounting system from underneath. And I can pull this one right out. I'll hang on to that washer there. See if I need that one or not. So this is the unit that is not working. So, cold, hot. This will mount from underneath. Oops. All right. And these hoses will mount in here first. So nicely marked off blue, which will be our cold. Okay, we'll screw that one in. So let's put in the hot water right away. I'm going to get my little wrench and just tighten that off just in case. Okay. There's a washer there. This will fit from underneath, I guess. Put that one there. I'll feed these through two. These two through. All right. Okay, had to take a slight break because the end nuts on these new hoses I got are different than the end nuts on the water supply, and we put an adapter on there last time because the end nuts were smaller on the same tap from the same company. So anyway, I have to go get different adapters. We'll get that changed over, and then our tap should be good to go. We should have hot and cold water. In the meanwhile, I was working on the old tap, and I ran a hanger through here just to see what was in there, and it took a little while to get it out. Actually, it was on the cold water one, not the hot water one. And out of it came these little chunks of stone. So some kind of sediment formed inside that tap, and it turned into concrete. Maybe it's gold, who knows. But anyway, so that was in there, but I was getting a little too aggressive, and I poked a hole through the other hose, which I was planning on changing anyway, so I can't use the old hose. So I'll just get my adapters changed over, and then the tap, or then the sink should be all good to go. Same tap as before. Okay, so happy to report, if I turn on my power, well, I think I'm happy to report, I'll turn on my electrical, I'll turn on my water pump, and if I go cold water, there we go, and there's pressure once the water is in the pipe. And we'll switch it to hot water. Hot water tank is not on, but the water is going through. We now have full pressure, cold and hot water. Went a whole year like that. Now we figured it out. Okay, so we're getting ready to winterize, but there's a few things we need to do first. We have these curtains that go around the window, but they're a little inconvenient because they travel around a curtain rail, I guess, or whatever.
Well, and it's not just that, Wade. It's also the fact that after, like, this is a 2006 van, and some of this stuff is no longer...
It's getting pretty beat up.
Hang on and beat up, and, you know, one option would be to replace the rail or redo these curtains, but we actually like, what's that thing called? A windshield?
Yeah, we have a, insulated windshield cover. Window shield
that we like
for the front window,
and it pops in on the inside.
And it just pops in. So we're going to make some for the two side windows as well too, and remove the curtains and the curtain rail. So we were just getting ready to draw that plan out today.
Yeah, so I'll be sewing that. We bought, what is the stuff called that we got?
Reflectix.
Reflectix. There we go. We bought some Reflectix, and so now I'm going to kind of make a pattern. We'll cut the Reflectix to exact size of the window. Put a bit of a flange on the Reflectix and some magnets then that will cling to this white metal part, and the Reflectix will just kind of snug fit or form fit into the edges here. But I'll put a black trim on the Reflectix so that they just snug perfectly in the window, and we can roll it up and store it when we're driving or don't want the barrier. But I think it'll make a difference on the heat inside of here too.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, we know some of you people have done this with your RVs or your vans, and have created your own Reflectix pieces to fit in the window. So I'm not sure how you did it, but this is how we're gonna do it. That crease that I'm making in the paper might help us to figure out where to draw. So when I sew it, I might find myself some wide bias tape to cover the Reflectix. And then the flange at the top here is where I'll hide the magnets. And on the sides, because that's metal. And then here at the bottom, we're hoping it just kind of rests in place. But I put a little bit of a flange here too, just to, this is my,
oh yeah, that's just
this is my skeleton.
Okay.
And the Reflectix would have to fit this exactly. So if you take a look at this, these are my supplies. We bought together some Reflectix, not very expensive, and got a pretty good roll here, way more than we probably need. Traced the window, that's this brown paper that you see here. The mugs, by the way, are just my weights to hold the brown paper down after it's been rolled. Got a ruler, pair of scissors, some measuring tapes. So the plan actually is to create a bias tape to go around the window trim and then insert magnets or sew in magnets at the top edge of the window, not at the bottom. The top edge has metal on the doorway, and we'll see if we can get them to kind of form fit into the window, as well as with the magnets that they'll stay nicely, and we can kind of keep the heat in or the cold out and the light out. Okay, so this is, I would say, the shape of the passenger side. What you're going to do is see that this is the part at the top and at the front where there's metal trim on the door. So that's where the flange is going to go. You've made a note for myself that this is where the magnets will go, and magnets will go along here and there. And the bottom edge and this edge we hope just compress, kind of fits in. I taped the piece on to the Reflectix. So I'm using my cheap scissors, not my nice fabric scissors, to go around and cut this. So I'm trying to sew the bias tape onto the wrong side of the Reflectix, and then I'll flip it over and sew it down on the right side. So it's a two-step process. But I feel like I'm having to push it along. Later on when I do the other side, I think it'll be easier because then it'll be fabric that it'll be sewing on both sides.
Okay, Lorraine has been working on her project, so I'm going to let her explain.
Okay, so there was a bit of, as you know, the top part is a bit wider, it's a flange, and that's where, if you can see in the light, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see.
Can you see that? That's where the magnets are sewn into. Hard to get them sewn in. Actually, there's masking tape attaching them to the fabric. And then I just sewed them down so they didn't move around in the flange. So let's see. It goes this way. I heard that magnet attached. I feel like I could have made the flange a little wider. Sliding it to fit. Magnets are sticking to the white metal frame of the van. A little bit of light coming through on the bottom, but if I pull it, just smooth it out, it's not gonna bump off, that's for sure. I'm pretty pleased. What do you think, Wade?
I think it'll be great, which means we can get rid of these curtains and this rod that goes all the way around.
Yeah.
And the van was all winterized tonight, so I've blown the lines clean. And I've emptied out our black, gray, and freshwater holding tanks. The only thing I need to do is add a little bit of diesel anti-gel fluid to our tank.
Okay.
And then we are ready to park it for hopefully not too long.
Well, we have no plans. We don't have a clue what we're gonna do.
We have some tentative plans, but
yeah, I don't know.
We're hoping to go south for about 2 or 3 months if we can. So
if we can, yeah. So
Lord willing,
I think this really worked.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be nice.
I could have made the flange a little wider.
But what it does is to eliminate this curtain, it stops short of the dashboard down there.
Yeah.
So
I just feel we'll have more room.
And we have a Reflectix for the front window already, which is made for this van. So
yeah,
what it will do is it'll feel roomier. It won't feel quite as closed in, I think, anyway. So.
You know.
Well, our year of camping has come to an end, and we're winterizing and slowly getting ready for next year. We've decided not to take any more trips this year. It is September 26th, and we just have so many other things happening, so we just haven't got time to go camping. But we do have time to get our RV ready for a hopeful trip that we want to take February, March, and April of this next year. Lord willing, we'll see what his plans are for us, and then we'll go with that. So One of the things we are doing is we're trying to make more floor space in our van. We have a large bin that is about this high and this wide, like that, and it just takes up floor space. That's where we carry our sewer hoses and stuff like that. So we want to eliminate that and mount a sewer hose. And I found it from a company called Valterra. It's an adjustable easy hose carrier, it's called. And you can mount it underneath, and it comes with leg screws and everything. You can mount it right to the frame of your RV. But for us, we don't have room underneath our RV, so we are going to mount it to the back bumper. And it's an adjustable that goes from 94 inches down to 50 inches. It's expandable. Oh, let's get this out here. So it's got a sleeve. It just slides in and out. So you can make it expandable, and it'll mount directly to our bumper. And what it will allow us to do is it will allow us to get rid of our sewer hose bin that we have, and we can put our sewer hose in here. We'll get a small Rubbermaid container, and that will contain our elbow for the dump station and also our gloves. So we're going to show you how to install it. It comes with 2 caps at either end, and the mounting hardware is in here right now, and there's some instructions. And there's, depending on how wide you have it, there's extra braces, so if you need to add more braces, you can. In our case, we probably won't need to. It also comes with some plumbing, I forget what they call it, plumbing strapping or whatever, so you can tighten it to something. Now we have some slots in our bumper. We may attach it that way. Once you bring it down, we'll get a better idea. But that is our project to help us get ready for the spring. So we're going to show you how to do that. Okay, it's the great Canadian tradition of working on your vehicle in the Canadian Tire parking lot. That's me now. But I figured it was probably the best place to be because I don't know what I'm going to need tool-wise. And I got to get stuff out of the way here. So I am working on that sewer storage pipe. And we're going to see if we can make that fit on the back of our vehicle. I'm a little worried about this, how this is going to fit on here, because there is not that much room to work. So we're going to see how this is going to work for us. I'm going to see if I can sneak it in under here. This could be difficult. It could work. I've got a thick pipe, is a little thick. I'll mount it on there. It'll be squeezed tight a little bit. But if I mount that on the back, that should store our sewer pipe. So this is going to be interesting. We'll see if it works. We are just tight for room on here. And I don't think there's a space underneath. Well, I can't store it underneath, so I'm going to have to do it on top. Okay, let's see if that will squeeze through there. It's a pretty tight squeeze, but it could work. It's a little bit flexible. That should work. All right, let's install it. Okay, so it's a hex bolt little bit of jerry rigging here because I need it to go flush up against the back of the bumper here. So I'm going to cut off this bottom piece down here, and then I'll have to reinforce it with strapping later on as well. But I think that should work. I'll reinforce it from that. I can run it flush up against it. It'll give me a little bit more room to play with. Just do the other side here as well too. Make sure I don't leave any garbage on the parking lot here. So that now allows me to put it flush right up against the bumper. I'll use this strapping, combine two of them together. Let's see if that works. Looks like I got lots of extra room to play with here, so I'll tighten this one up as much as I can. Now I've left myself just enough room that I can open up the side cap and I can get my hose into there. There we go. There. That gives me lots of room to get it in and out now. And actually it makes more sense from this side anyway because our dump station is on this side as well. So now that opens there. That opens there. So that is the extendable sewer hose connector from Valterra. Sewer hose holder, I guess you'd call it. And that mounts right onto the bumper. The other thing we're going to do too is we've stored in the past, we've stored our bedding in the just in black garbage bags. But we're going to put it in Rubbermaid containers and seal them off. We're going to do as much as we can to make sure we do not have mice problems in our van. We've heard so many other horror stories of people getting mice into their vehicles and chewing things apart, so we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Well, we're going to try as hard as we can to make sure that it doesn't happen. So all of our bedding is going to fit inside Rubbermaid bins, and then that'll just be stored in the van over the winter. One of the other overlooked items that are often missed when cleaning up and winterizing is getting the batteries out of all your flashlights. And those batteries can still kind of delete a charge until they're burned out, and sometimes they will get you that corrosive coating on the ends of the batteries, which gets the contacts dirty as well too. So for the winter time, take the batteries out of your flashlights. We hope that you have enjoyed this video and learned some tricks on how to prepare your van for the winter, and also on how to prepare for the next season. There's many things we can do to our RVs, and this is a great time of year to do it. If you've liked this video, please take the time to subscribe and give us a thumbs up and ring that bell for more notifications. It helps us grow our channel as well. Now, Lorraine and I have had a great summer of camping, and it's time to put our van away into storage. But we're hoping that we can take off for another trip in February, and we're hoping to share that with you as we make our plans. Thank you for watching, and remember, hold your plans loosely.